On the 7th of April 2014, your university's Minister David Willett announced sweeping changes to Disabled Students Allowance. Changes that amount to nothing more than a cut to services and an attack on disabled students. But don't just take my word for it. Here's what a number of our students and our student union officers have to say on what you're doing or proposing to doing to disabled students across the country.
It's very easy to see how hard it is for disabled students at universities already. A lot of the provisions set out for them aren't accessed. So I think further cuts to support is awful, and I don't want to be part of society that does that.
As a person who's currently within the system of DSA at the moment, I can only say that it's a huge benefit to anybody who would need that extra assistance. I feel that if it was taken away, it would be monumental to students not having equal chances to succeed in higher education. It's not as if disabled students that would need that are disadvantaged in society, but society functions in a different way, and we need these extra resources just to be able to acclimatise to the way that society is run. Taking them away gives us a huge disadvantage.
I think the farming out of the costs of DSA to individual universities from central government is obviously going to be very problematic, and is part of the wider drive to make universities into private profit-making businesses rather than a common social good. I think we can see what happens in practice with this by what's happened with the Academies programme in schools, where essentially recruitment has been done in such a way is that institutions don't take on the same number of disabled students. So I think it's really important that we campaign to keep DSA being provided centrally and to not give any incentive to universities to discriminate against disabled students, either directly or indirectly.
By cutting DSA, you are closing the doors on widening participation. You are limiting the amount of disabled students that will be able to attend university. They will not be able to broaden their horizons. How is this fair?
Okay, I think the government's proposal to cut the DSA is a discriminatory proposal. It's unjustifiable and it attacks the weakest in society.
So while this is being posed as moving the responsibility onto the universities to provide support for students, it's actually placing the responsibility on the students themselves. It's putting that onus on the most vulnerable people to be their own advocates.
You have an opportunity to stop this before it becomes a major problem and a major barrier to entry to further and higher education for disabled students. Please do right by the disabled citizens of tomorrow and stop these cuts to Disabled Students Allowance.